My goodness, what happened to you?
I felt like it was really fun.
Yes, it's a really good experience.
Enjoying it a lot.
And I'm just so thrilled to have been here.
That's the line you need to put in.
Since last week, obviously, it started raining and it's made the site incredibly difficult. It's very clayey and slippy. So we've got less people on site at the moment because we're doing some drawing and not so much digging. But up until yesterday, it was really lovely and sunny and we got on really well digging the post holes that we've been uncovering. So we'd uncovered these circular areas of different coloured soil and we then had to photograph and record them and then dig them. So we've uncovered over 50 different features, and what we've been doing is digging them and trying to find out if they're actually a post hole. So have they got any depth to them, have they got fill in them, flat base or any fines, and then discounting some that are definitely not. So there's a few that are very shallow, don't look as though they've been anything much, and one particularly nice one which is actually where we think a tree has been growing, and you can see the shape of it, much bigger than the rest and very shallow, and then recording and planning all of those. So what we've got is, last week we had what looked like a rectangular building with rounded ends. Well, we've still got that, but more now a rectangular structure. So a structure can be roofed or unroofed, and what we haven't found is very large pits or post holes where you would expect there to be very large timbers for a roofed construction. So what we think we might have is an unroofed structure which had smaller posts, and I've been talking to Gordon Noble at Aberdeen University and he suggests it might be what they call a mortuary enclosure, and it's a structure where you'd have posts around an area where you would lay out the dead and allow the flesh and everything to come off before they then bury bones into cairns and other structures. So that's a possibility of what we have here. So what we have to do now is we've got to take all the samples that we've excavated. We put all our samples into white sample buckets and they go off to Edinburgh and be studied. So they look and see what's in them, what's in the soil, taking out charcoal, things like grain and anything like that. And then we'll get dates for the charcoal. So then that'll give us an idea of what date it is, and then we can work on looking at the structure and what type of structure it might be.
Every feature has to be recorded completely. So it's photographed, it's planned on the big plan, and then the individual features have to be drawn in themselves. So they're sectioned. Samples are taken from the bit that's been taken out, so that's all for radiocarbon dating, and then the actual profile of it is drawn using this method. After the section's been drawn, then they have to draw a plan showing the exact shape of the post hole.
I've just done the easy jobs today. I've learnt how to log finds, and we had an interesting group of school children who were very enthusiastic in the mud. There's young students too, and there are two from overseas today.
We are preparing our section to draw actually, and this is presumably a post hole. I follow Ali Cameron on Facebook, and I also saw on the Archaeology Society Facebook chat that they were searching for volunteers to actually assist and help out. And that's why we're here, because now we know how to section draw and how to prepare for a section draw and planning and stuff. So we have our archaeology passports and they are filled out with these types of skills. So it's really nice to have this experience.
I've done a lot in the past, so I try and assist people like Ali in helping doing all the paperwork and making sure what we're doing is documented correctly and recorded correctly. Most people like myself have had training either on site from people like Ali or others, or a lot of us are actually go back as with us retired, we go back and start university degrees at Aberdeen or at UHI.
I've had a lifelong interest in local history, and I'm shortly retiring, and I'm now doing an undergraduate course at Aberdeen University, a certificate, and then hoping to go on to do a master's. So I love the social bit, the volunteering, the practical bit, but I also like the academic side as well, and this brings everything together.
When we get new volunteers, when they first come on the site, we'll set them up, we'll show them safety, what they're meant to do, where they're meant to walk, and then we show them how to correctly trowel, how to correctly take samples. So basically all the field school skills we all teach volunteers, because then they'll come back on future digs and be our resources.
One thing is that this is actually not going to be the final couple of days of the dig. The regional archaeologist Bruce Mann agrees that we should come back and do another maybe week or 10 days just uncovering further areas and making sure that the building's not bigger and that we haven't got any other structures outlying this trench.